Thank you for tuning into the Mystery Collections Conversations with your host, Master Magician, curator of all things odd, bizarre, and mysterious, and all-around nice guy, Paul Nelson.
Hey, guys.
Hi.
Hello.
Hey.
Thanks.
First one back. It's been a while.
A little bit.
And the format looks a little bit different.
Little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
So this delay is going to be a little bit of a shit show for me because we're still showing on the laptop. Oh, now we're switching over. So, yeah.
All right,
Well, welcome everyone to the comeback, the rebirth, what do we want to call it? The
Resurrection. You would love that word.
What's that? Resurrection? The respawn. Is that a video game thing? Spawning?
Spawn.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, look at this format. I mean, isn't this amazing? I have these two to thank for how awesome this looks. We were up till, I don't know, I was up till 2:30. You guys were up much later than that, making this look, making it look like it does. Oh, hey, the Big Icky says hello.
Hello.
Hi, Chris.
So, Chris, we're going to have you back on. This is a whole new thing, and I'm anxious to have you guys. So, welcome back. There's been a lot of things that have happened in the last since I've done this last. Lots. We'll get to it. But I'm so lucky today to have two of my favorite people, two of my best friends, come in to have this back. We've got Vic Nadata from Gemini Artifacts.
Hello. How are you?
And my dear friend Soydan from Evil Eye Workshops.
Hi, everybody.
And I'm not even going to attempt. I've known Soydan for several years, and I'm not even going to attempt the last name. We tried to type it; it didn't fit. So,
Yeah.
So how do you say it, Soydan? How do you say it? How do you say it in like white people language, and then how do you say it in Turkish?
Well, in Turkish, it's üstünergil.
Okay.
And in white people language, however you say it, I never correct anybody. I just go with it. It's a lot easier. And
Say it one more time. Say it one more time.
Say it one more time in Turkish.
üstünergil.
Okay.
I mean, even in Turkey, I have to repeat it at least twice most of the time.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, it's not usual in Turkey either. I guess it's kind of long.
Well, and I'm going to apologize in advance. This is our first day on this new system, and I'm getting used to some things. So we're going to have the split screen for a while, and I've got my notes in front of me, and I'm going to be looking at questions that are on the
Facebooks,
on my friends. It looks like we got a good group watching. We've got hey, Eddie Garland, good to see you, buddy.
Hey.
Yeah. So I don't even know where to start. The last couple of years, as I've been very, very open about on Facebook, have been an absolute shit show.
Yes.
And 2022 is starting off to be pretty good. I've been lucky enough to be on over 24 airplanes and perform my show all over, go visit some dear friends all over and do shows for new audiences. And this was a big deal for me to get this started again. And that's why I'm so glad to have my friends. So we're just going to dig in. And if you have any questions, Mrs. Soydan, white people language is watching. So hi, Tina. Hi, Tina.
Hi, Tina.
So yeah. So we're just going to dig in. If you guys have any questions, I'm seeing them on the Facebooks.
Yes.
So we'll take any questions you've got. So Vic, we're going to start with you.
Okay.
And this is Vic is one of my favorite people in the world, and Vic means more to me than a lot of my family does. And we're going to get to kind of some of those relationships here soon. I met Vic, I don't know, 230 years ago, probably. Okay. Vic was doing some work for a company called Outlaw Effects. Some of you old Bizarre Magic guys will remember Outlaw Effects and the problems with Outlaw. I was a collaborator on a few things with Roth at Outlaw, and I was a regular customer, built a lot of props for me. And then one day I saw a bunch of things on there that were by Vic Nadata. And then one day I get an email that Gemini Artifacts was born. And you just celebrated your 10th anniversary this past week of Gemini Artifacts.
September 1st.
So talk a little bit about how you got here. And don't give me the smart ass Soydan answer that he gave me earlier that he drove south on Highway 85.
Well, I'm not, because I didn't. I came on an airplane.
An airplane?
Yes. But first, I say it is fun to talk into microphones.
Oh God, we had so much fun last night. Yeah.
Right? Just talking into microphones and hearing your voice was awesome.
Oh yeah, we were Soydan was hammering away at the computer, and Vic and I are sitting in the guest seats, and Soydan would say something where I'm sorry, we can't hear you. You talking to the microphone.
Excuse me.
It really makes you feel so important, like we're doing something super important right now.
So I need to give a warning and an apology to Vic's wife, Danielle. I think you're going to have a microphone at your dinner table from now on.
Right. I can't hear you.
So all right, Vic. So talk a little bit about how you got started with Outlaw, and you don't need to get into why you left. I think everybody understands why everybody left Outlaw Effects.
Right.
But kind of the growth of Gemini and where you got, how you got here, not here.
Right. Okay. Well, I got an effect from them, from Outlaw, called The Witch's Almanac, and it was fabulous. It was a great effect. It was fabulous, and I loved it.
Still one of the
Absolutely. And I had an idea. I was like, this book would be so great. I thought as like a witch trials book, and I was just starting out. I didn't know anything about the history of it and everything like that. But I made this book called Ipswich, and from then on, it just grew from there. I made that one book, and I put together a bunch of money just to get 4 copies. And at this point, it sold over 100.
Yeah.
So
it wasn't a cheap prop. I mean, it wasn't a cheap effect. It was
right. Yeah.
It was a heavy duty one.
Right. But I remember saving the money to try to get 4 copies printed up. And but it really started from there. And from there, it grew and grew, and I added more props to it, and I just wanted to start my own place, and that's exactly what I did.
Yep. Yeah. So I think we were trying to remember what the first prop the first East Coast Spirit Sessions is. The first time we met in person, I'd pre-ordered a prop, and you had it there, but
we couldn't remember.
So we'll we're gonna go back and forth on this. So we'll just kind of go. So Soydan, if you can tell by Soydan's accent that he is not from Greeley, Colorado, and not from Cheyenne, Wyoming. Soydan, when did tell us kind of your background and how you got. I mean, you grew up in Turkey, and when you came here, and how you got into magic.
Well, so I got into magic when I was in Turkey. Actually, so let me recap, I guess. When I was little, there was this kids magazine called Bando, which means band, like a big band. And in that magazine, there was 2 pages of magic. It was written by a professional magician in Turkey. There will be small effects that you can gather things around the house, and you can do.
So how old are you? Early teens?
It's like probably 6, 7, 8, something like that. Well, since I was reading, probably more like 7, 8.
Okay.
I don't think I was reading quite yet at 6.
Right.
So I started learning stuff and doing it for family and friends. And I remember a few years after that, I was in, I believe, mid-school. So at that time, I'm like 9, 10 years old. I did put a small show together and did it for the class. Mm-hmm. And then another friend was doing sort of a fundraiser for their apartment complex that they had. And we did it like a variety show. And again, I performed there. So it was like 2 shows. And I usually skim over this part. But at the age of 11, I lost my mom. And at the time, my life basically changed.
Absolutely.
And going back to those days, I feel like that was the reason I think I stopped doing magic for some reason, or wasn't important anymore, I guess. Yeah. And then fast forwarded to I'm 26, I believe. No, I'm like 24. One of my friends in Turkey, Timur, he's watching Chris Angel, the first season.
Wow.
And he's like, there's this guy called Chris Angel, and he's the real deal. I'm like, what do you mean with the real deal? He's like, he really does this stuff that he does. I'm like,
right.
No, like what are you talking about?
Right.
And he tells me, he's like, let me show you. And these are the beginning years of the YouTube, and he pulls up, one of the videos, and I'm like, that is pretty cool, but I know it's not real. And he's like, no, this guy is the real deal. And he's like, keeps on. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna prove it to you. So I start researching, trying to figure out what he's doing. And I start remembering, I'm like, hold on a second, I used to do magic. So while I'm trying to, figure out how Chris Angel's doing his stuff, I started learning magic again and started remembering some of the effects that I would be, doing. And then in Istanbul, they have a magic shop, and I started going there whenever I can. I will save up money and buy a bunch of props that some of them hardly ever got used.
Right, well, welcome to being a magician, right? I got a room full of shit right there.
That's right. Totally.
Yeah, the Mark Mason effect is what we call that in magic. Mark Mason can sell you. We're back. Okay, it looks like we skipped out for a second. Sorry, guys. I don't know what happened. We're back though.
Yeah. So, and from there, I started doing it on street for friends and wherever I can find, basically in Turkey, in my hometown. And then when I came here, I started doing it professionally, and I was doing kids magic at the beginning, which because of that, I have so much respect for kids entertainers in general.
It's totally, no, absolutely, absolutely.
Hardest genre in magic, probably.
Yeah. I mean,
really hard.
Yeah, I don't do it. I don't do it, and that's why I added a bunch of cuss words into my show so no kids would come. But it's hard. No, but you watch kid performers, but some of those kid performers make that's where they make bank. I mean, they can bust out 3 or 4 birthday shows in a weekend. And not the same money that they're making in a day on a Saturday doing 2 or 3 birthday shows.
Right.
So, well, both of you are primarily known as. I mean, you're both performer. I mean, Vic, you don't perform professionally at all.
Not anymore.
Soydan, you.
I have with my woodwork, I haven't been performing because of COVID too.
Yeah, right.
I did one show during COVID, and I didn't like it.
Soydan and I've done a show together. We did a show at the Cheyenne Comic-Con a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. I'll tell you what, I've done a lot of conventions and I've done a lot of things like that. And the guys that put together that Cheyenne Comic-Con, that was a first class organization. I mean, I don't know that I've ever been treated that well at a convention or by a group. It was really, I'm sad that it left. It was really, really something.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Soydan did his staple the
which is awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And but yeah, so not being full-time performers, you guys are both primarily known as creators, but you both performed as kids. Yeah. And last night we were kind of thinking around, kicking some ideas or questions, and Vic had a good thing to bring up, is that what is something that you do when because Vic, you perform for your wife and your family and friends and that stuff. Yeah. What is something that you performed back in your fire and ice magic days?
Right.
That was Vic's got the business card. Yeah. If you want me to see if I can hold it up here, or can you? All right, let's see if you can see this.
My dad.
You know what? We'll post a picture of it on the Facebook page. We'll post
my original business card from back.
Yeah, Vic's dad found us, and we figured that was 1990, 89, 90.
Yeah.
So both of you, Soydan performed as a kid. Vic, you performed young when you were younger. What is something that when you sit down with friends and family, is there anything from back in the day that you still enjoy performing for your friends and family? Mine is one of the first tricks I learned was Color Monty. It was Emerson and West Color Monty.
Love it.
That is a classic, and it's still punches everybody in the face the first time they see it. Totally. And I still perform it when I sit down across from it. It's not part of the Mystery Collection shows, but I bust it out every time I can. Right. What are the things that you would still perform if you went to a friend's party and they said, "Hey, perform something"? What are some things from back in the day of early magic that you enjoy?
Right. So I got this book when I first started getting into it, and I picked up at Barnes and Noble or something like that, and it was like $14, and it had a silly 4-ace trick in it that was basically self-working, but it blew my mind. I just couldn't believe it. And it only used, a couple of cards, and I still do that one to this day. It's got to be 20, 30 years later. I'm still doing this silly trick that I learned in this kids book, but it's worth it. It was still, it's still great, and I still do it. What about you?
I don't think I have anything that I'm, professionally performing from those days, but so that's not exactly from the kids' days, but when I restarted, like I mentioned earlier, I bought one of those fake thumbs.
Oh, for sure. Right. Okay.
And I usually carry one with me, which I don't have one right now. So I guess I don't always carry it. I can't say that.
Right.
But I do cigarette vanish without announcing it, like what I'm going to say. I will borrow a cigarette and I'll just do it, and I'll just act
so
like
it looks like we've lost. Can you guys pull up here? I think it looks like we've lost it. 30 minutes. We shut down. pull up on your phone and see if we're still. It looks like at 30 minutes. I don't know if anybody can still see this. Is it just my phone or I'm sorry, guys. We're working out this new system.
I know we are live, but our camera is frozen. But we can just keep going.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be able to see questions, so Soydan, you're gonna have to keep your thing open because I'm completely frozen up. Okay. Chris Morrison says we still see you. Okay.
okay.
Thanks.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
I don't know why it's on mine, so we're just gonna wing it. Soydan and Vic are frozen.
Hopefully it's not.
It's not that cold.
Right. And we're in the frozen,
Okay.
worst position ever.
So let me let's see here what we're gonna switch.
We can
to-
take a break, I guess.
watch this. Let's see. Let's
Yeah, switch.
do this.
Switch cams.
All right, look at that. Look at how awesome
Look at
that
that.
worked.
Right.
Now it just swapped over just to me. so
Fancy,
you just get to
fancy,
see me.
fancy.
So we're gonna now Donna says we see no one at all.
What?
Can you hear? But everybody can still hear us. Yep. As fancy as this looks, we are still working out some bugs.
Totally.
So, hold on just a quick second. Let's.
I mean, this is the show that we're trying to work out the bugs.
Yep.
You know, that's what it's for. That's what we're here for.
Well, we are the bugs.
Well,
All right, guys, we're gonna take a
Right.
quick break, but please stick with us. We're gonna get this figured out, and
Yeah.
we're gonna try to get this figured out. We'll be right back.
we'll be right back.
I think that we're back now. We got it figured out.
Yes.
We're working on some things. I want to give a quick comment about that music. That is the guitar is Soydan. The drums and the mixing is our friend Paul Prater, who will be my guest in 2 weeks.
Very nice.
That's not the finished product. Soydan is making sure to tell us.
Right.
Yes.
That is it. But that music was made by my friends, and I'm so excited. I said I'm going to mention the music, and Soydan said, "Are you really?" I'm like,
Totally.
"Fuck yeah, I'm going to mention the
Of
music."
course,
I got two buddies that made music for this silly show.
Totally.
It's it's first
Of course.
time I'm
No, it's awesome.
doing anything
So
like that. So
all right, well,
Killer.
somebody give me a comment if you can hear us if we're back.
If we're back.
yeah, it looks like it.
It looks like we're back. I just got a heart. I also want to give a shout out to a friend that just my friend Jen Norman opened a store or is opening a store. You'll have to let us know, Jen, in Enid, Oklahoma, an apothecary kind of oddities store.
Oh,
and so I hope to put, okay, Chris says we're back on, and David and Tina said yes. Okay, awesome.
Great.
Thanks for sticking around, guys. She's opened a store in Enid, Oklahoma. I've never been to Eden, Oklahoma, so I'm hoping to maybe get out there in the next year and do a show. So check out. I posted, I shared it, and if you want to post a link to your shop, the Facebook page, please do. That's what friends do.
Cool.
So okay, so Soydan, what the fuck were you talking about? So
You're asking me.
or Vic, you were talking about the trick you did as a kid that you brought back. I'm sorry. Yeah, we technology interrupted us.
Yeah. So I did the 4-ace one, and he did. Well, the thumb, right? The thumb.
Right. Thing.
Right.
Yeah.
That's where. What about you?
Well, I did Color Monte was one.
Monte,
Yeah.
right, yes.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, I learned Free Will when it first came out.
Yeah.
And never gave it a lot of never gave it a lot of love or respect. And I just thought nobody's going to fall for this. Free Will's not doesn't have the punch until I saw you perform it at a liquor store.
Oh, right.
And I thought, oh my God, it broke these guys' face.
Right.
Okay. Jezebel's Emporium and Tea Room in Eden, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So check that out. Jen just posted the name in the Facebook. So
very cool.
So check it out. Oh, it's on our phones. That's that noise. It's I could hear my voice. I'm like, oh, I hear voices, but it's usually not mine.
Right.
So you guys are primarily both known as creators.
Yeah.
Soydan, there's a piece that you created several years ago that is in every single one of my shows.
Yeah.
Vic saw me. I did a show last night for the Kick House, a kickboxing gym here in town that donated enough money for my Dancing with the Stars that they got a
Free show,
a show out of it. And
Yes.
we went to the gym last night and did a show. It was amazing. It was very fun. If you're in around Greeley, check out the Kick House. We had a great time. But I performed your pearls of the past, which you came up with the method, and our dear friend Aiden Sinclair came up with a routine for it. Yeah. And Vic, I can't even tell you how many things. I mean, this basement's full of Gemini artifacts. I mean, we've got a couple that we'll talk about.
Okay.
So you talked about Ipswich being your first entrance into into production and creation of magic. So, what was your first marketed effect? Well, maybe the first one you made.
It is the pearls first.
Okay.
I released, I guess. And
Well, were the slates before pearls?
good question.
I think they were.
Yes.
I think your spirit slates were before.
Yeah.
Also, Paul Knopfler, historian of magic.
You know better than we do.
If anybody out there has a prop that they use that came from either of these two guys, post something. I want to hear what people are using. From Tina says yes. So I don't know if that means yes that slates came out first or not, but she just says yes.
Because we were in a different house at the time.
Okay.
The slates were first, and the reason behind coming up with those was I borrowed Eugene Berger's book Spirit Theater from Aiden Sinclair, and he has a picture, and I think he's explaining the routine in the book too with the small slates. They're very
like dollhouse slates.
Yeah,
pocket slates.
Yep, exactly. They're super small, and I thought, it was really cool. But I'm like, why would you have slates that small? Like, if I was to use it, I couldn't come up with a reason to justify why am I carrying these tiny slates? Like he has a reason. Eugene Berger did have a reason why he used them. I couldn't come up with a reason. So then I saw Cassidy. I can't remember his first name. Bob Cassidy. His slates that he uses. He basically takes DVD cases, cuts the plastic off of them, makes these frameless, just two black.
Okay. Yeah.
And then I saw that I believe Penguin Magic released his a video about all that, how he's using it. And when I saw those, okay, I'm like, those could be anything. You could make up stories, like you have no limitations because they're just few pieces of black sheet. And then can I make I'm gonna give away so much, but the effort for those, I'm not gonna say it. And I'm like, that I don't know how I can do that, but then I came up with what I came up with.
That's
because
good.
of those
That's good. Yeah.
Those things, you know.
So I want to talk a little bit, but I just got a message from David who says, I've used a lot of items from Vic for Halloween shows. Lillian's diary made for a very cool evening. That is absolutely something I want to talk on. I want to hit on.
Okay.
So we'll put a pin in that because Lillian's is, and also Danielle Nadata just started watching.
Oh, yay.
And I got to tell you, I've got a lot of friends that are married, and the two here are not included in this, but most of their wives are kind of shitheads. I guess they just don't like me but I got to tell you, Danielle Nadata is a sweetheart. So thanks for watching, Danielle. So talk about the pearls. You had the Lena Cavalieri routine. The pearls is a without exposing any method. Talk about kind of the origin of pearls. I mean, you worked hard on this deal. I mean, it was, and if I remember right, there was a ton of heat on the cafe about it, on the Magic Cafe. It was in the running for Bizarre Prop of the Year, Bizarre Effect of the Year.
It came in second.
It
came in second. Well, that was the way it started. Was actually Dean Deal's grandma's
necklace. Yeah.
Routine.
Okay.
I thought it was really cool, and I wanted to perform that. And I saw Dan Harlan's handling of it, which I thought was really brilliant. And as I'm working on it, I'm trying to come up with my own props so they don't look the same, and they look like actual necklaces rather than really big beads. Which, I mean, it could be necklaces, but you don't see the large beads on, many necklaces. So I wanted to make it look more like a necklace. And then I came up with this BS story about my grandmother, basically, or my great grandmother, and then it turned into my grandmother. So I'm, writing all this stuff, and I just couldn't make it work. And eventually, I came up with the idea of using pearls, for the necklaces, but I totally disregard the, actual method, and came up with the same story. Use the same story about my grandmother, tweaked it a little bit with the pearls routine, basically. But then I'm like, I think this is too good to keep for myself, but who's going to buy an effect from me if it's about my grandmother? Not everybody's going to relate with that. So I got on the computer, Google, rabbit hole. Sometimes your best friend and sometimes your enemy.
I became an expert in prison gangs the other night because of that. Yeah.
Okay. So I went on there. Turn of the century women with pearl necklaces. I'm looking for a picture. I find a bunch of pictures. I was super excited, and I'm clicking on each one. They're all modern.
Oh, okay.
Models.
Yeah.
Right.
But they looked super authentically vintage. And they all, had the exact look I was looking for. But they're all new. I'm like, I can't use any of those photos. It's just, I mean, even if people don't know, I don't care, I just can't use them. Finally, I see this one picture, which is Lena. I go to the website where the picture is, and I start reading about her. And it says, during World War II, her and her husband were living in Italy. And America is doing an air raid. I believe it was 1944, February 6th, night of 6th. And they all go to their bunker. They were super rich, by the way. And all the the helpers, mates, and everybody, they were running into their bunker to save themselves from the air raid. Lena remembers her jewelry.
Nice.
Which a part of the jewelry is that pearl necklace that she's wearing in the picture. She goes back to retrieve it, and she dies.
The story
I'm
built
like,
itself.
oh my God.
Right.
Oh my God. I'm like, I cannot
Right.
not use this. Like, how can I disregard this story?
Yeah.
It's just a true story.
Perfect.
And if it's exactly the routine I'm doing, I'm like, she has a reason to go back for those pearls after death.
Right.
Because it's supposed to be a seance piece.
Right.
That was the whole idea of it.
Well, and if I remember right, you sent, I mean, with the original production, there was a photo and some other props that came with it. I think it was in a full. Aiden wrote up the full effect.
Yeah.
And I've taken Chris, our friend Chris in Michigan, the Big Icky, just said that he uses a lot of Vic's items all year round. My favorite, your favorite of his is the wishing mirror, so we can talk about that. That's a fun one. Okay. And he says he always uses Pearls of the Past. It's funny because you and I were talking last night about how many people have told you that it's a staple in their show.
Yeah.
I you know, as I do with most of the props that come out, I rewrite the story and make it more personal. And I've used it in my WD French seance, and I've most recently used it in my run of my Storyville shows about the brothels of New Orleans. Yeah. And it murders. I mean, it kills. You know, my spirit contacts and finds the bell by a spirit bell. You know, so a bell rings. Sometimes a pendulum will start moving. But I just think what you've created is you've provided a story, and if you want to, if people buy it and want to use the Lena story, it's an amazing story. But your method and your props are top notch, and it is the Pearls of the Past. Is it done? I mean, if people, you know, what happens if I sell 50 of these things for you today?
Well, the problem is I have some of the material that I use to building up or not building up, but gathering the props, I'm going to say, because I'm not making any of them. There's nothing to make. I am buying all of them, but I had my resources that I was happy with. One company shut down for good. Yeah. And this is before COVID it happened. So it has nothing to do with COVID. And another company stopped selling a certain product. And I don't know the reason behind it. They're just not selling it. So I'm in research of finding those again, where it's because when I first started, I was using one of the items is those glass vials.
Right.
First batches were breaking during shipment, which it was part of it was my fault the way I was packaging them, but also they were not very quality apparently.
Well, it would also help if you didn't have some asshole in Colorado that kept saying, "Oh my God, my pearls are gone. I left them at the bar in New Orleans," or somebody walked. I had somebody walk off with one. I had somebody lose one in a 180-year-old building. It fell through the floor, and so I appreciate you've always been very. Wiley Allen asks, when will they be back? Is it something that you think about? I guess the answer is when you find a source.
So yeah, exactly. I do want to bring him back, but when they do come back, I don't think it's going to be exactly the same package. I'm thinking about making it a little bit more limited.
Yeah. Okay. Like an elite kind of package.
Yeah.
Okay.
Provide a few additional routines in the booklet to turn it into like a 15-20 minute seance.
I'd be glad to include the Blue Book one if you want the Storyville,
definitely.
the Storyville one. That's part
so I want to have a package that is, if you buy that and if you don't want to do any work, you can literally read it and practice it, and you have a short seance.
Yeah. Okay.
So perfect. That's the.
So Soydan, I'm going to run this across the bottom. I'm going to see if I can figure this part out.
Here we go. Technology. Hang in there, folks.
It's up top with the red ones.
Here? Okay.
Yeah, the highlighted ones with the red or reddish color.
And then I hit the eyeball?
Yep.
I hit.
There you go.
Look at that.
Right.
Holy cow. So now if I put it on. All right, so it only runs on the guest one. That's fine. That's cool.
Oh, you can do that way too. You can do it either way.
So now if I hit transition, no, it goes back to just here.
No, you need to select the split screen and then eyeball again. You have to do them each screen separately.
So then guest, eyeball.
And then now you can transition again, and voila, it's like magic.
Look at that. Okay, so tell everybody that can't see the big red letters coming across the bottom how they find you.
So I do have an Etsy shop, but the links that we're giving on the screen, my Facebook and Instagram. If you just search for Evil Eye Workshop, you'll find my page. Right now, I'm not any of the magic effects.
We're gonna get to your
about the last year. Is it okay to you say it so? About the releases, I asked you about releasing my magic effects because it's not gonna be Evil Eye Workshop no more.
Okay, you're gonna put it through Gemini.
It's gonna be Gemini. That's gonna be the only place they're gonna.
Okay,
I mean, they'll be available from me if you reach out to me, but it's gonna be mainly Vic. So the Evil Eye Workshop is not gonna be
But they can follow you in your
Definitely.
adventures.
Oh,
And
yeah,
you're also an
definitely.
amazing photographer, and as we played earlier, a rock star guitar player. We're gonna get to some of the woodworking things in a little bit.
Yeah, so it will like workshop on both Facebook and Instagram, and you will find links to my store and possibly stores in future. And you guys
Okay.
that even actually don't know about this,
Oh,
and I can, I guess, tip it.
break it!
Yeah, breaking news, man.
Yeah.
I just yeah. So far, I only told my wife what I'm thinking about doing.
Uh-oh.
So I told you about the planchette
Yes.
sign that
Yeah.
I'm working on, and another project that I'm gonna start working on, which this is gonna be separate Etsy shop, is gonna be superhero or comic book signs.
Okay. Cool.
Oh, cool.
It's same idea with the light up
Okay.
backgrounds, double layers, and all
Well,
that.
yeah, follow Soydan at Evil Eye Workshop on
So-
Facebook and Instagram. And
Very
we're gonna
cool.
get back because I want to. You've got a couple things in front of you that I had you make for
Oh,
me
yes.
that we're gonna talk about, and then a piece behind you that I set up behind you that we're
Yeah.
gonna talk about. But and Chris, our friend the Big Icky, said he'd be happy to share his presentation with you as well for the Pearls of the Past.
Awesome.
Definitely,
So-
yeah. If anybody has different, because I know you and another gentleman that does it differently, and yeah, I would love to hear anybody has a different routine.
Awesome.
Definitely.
All right, Vic. I pulled down my copy of Lillian's.
Okay.
I know that this is somebody mentioned it earlier. It's kind of your. I asked you the other day what you thought your opus was. You know, what is your contribution? And I probably have different opinions than you. I think Luna is probably the big one. I don't know how much of Luna was you. I mean, that was originally came out. That was an early Roth product, an early
that
Outlaw.
was Todd
product.
Lamon made.
Todd Landeman. Okay,
Yeah, he made that first one,
Who's-
and then
I
Brian
mean,
and I
Yeah.
just took over and wrote the rest of them. I'm really proud of Lillian though.
Well, if anybody out there uses Lillian or Luna, comment on this. I'd be interested to
Yeah.
hear your
I
presentation.
know
as well.
Steve Gibson does.
Yeah, no, and we talked about this,
Uh-huh.
and I'm going to say this again and hope that Steve's watching or
Yes.
watches this. 2 years ago at East Coast Spirit Sessions, not this past one, but the one before, Steve Gibson presented a blacklight seance
Yep.
based on this book. Without a doubt, the finest seance performance I've ever seen in my entire life.
Awesome.
I walked in, I sat there, and they did parlors where they would move people through real quickly. You know, you sit for 20 minutes and you go to another room.
Yeah.
And I passed Vic in the hallway, and I'm like, you are about to see something that is
Right.
going to rock your world. It
was
is
awesome.
It was unbelievable. So, and it's based on this book.
It's based on this book. Yeah, he did the Lillian seance. It was really good. Yeah, but you know, I'm really proud of this book, and you know, it kind of has a true backstory.
Right.
to
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So-
it happened to you.
Yeah, I don't know if most people know this, but
Well, tell the story of Lily. Just in a
yeah. So in a nutshell, Lillian's story was a girl that fell through the ice on Valentine's Day. She was in love with her neighbor, a young boy named William, and she came back after her death and wrote this diary through William in ghost-like fashion. And but that really happened to me. I fell through the ice and I went under. And that's kind of where the story came from, was that true story. But I'm really proud of that one. That was a great one. And Steve Gibson does it awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. No, it's
Yeah.
It actually watching Steve's made me pull it out, and you know I've had.
Right.
I mean, the one you have in front of you is the harder to find one. It's the
Yeah,
the
velvet
higher
one.
end with the velvet one.
Yeah.
So we talked to the kind. I don't know if this was on the list of things not to bring up or not, but I guess I'm doing it.
Uh-oh.
We talked a little bit about that you have an idea that you want to work on, something that you've been kind of putting on the back burner, and it ties into this.
Right. Okay. So yeah, I was thinking about, you know, I love Lillian. I love the story. And I love the whole concept of it, but I was thinking of adding on to something to it. So
Yeah.
I was thinking of maybe releasing something called William's Diary. I don't know if anyone would be interested in that, but it'd be a continuation of the story from William's point of view.
From the survivor who was
Yeah.
visited by the ghost,
Right.
who had the visions of the
Right. So
yeah.
it'd be his diary that would be next.
Right.
If anyone is interested in that, I'm not sure, but it's in the mind, you know.
Right,
I would
right.
love to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
So we also talked. I don't remember what the idea was, but what is your dream project?
Oh,
You know, we talked about. So you, I mean, you come up
Right.
with ideas, and you've released you and I came up with the blue book. Was it 38 blocks? Is that what we called it?
38 blocks. Yeah.
And it was my Storyville seance prop.
Yep.
You've come up with several pieces of my show and several pieces of, as I'm looking here on the comments, several pieces of other people's show.
Yeah.
What is something you would want to do? What is your project, your dream project? What do you want to do?
Right. So that's easy. I've been thinking about this for decades at this point. The discovery of witches. I would love to do that. It's a very thick book. It's really, it would be really hard, but I think it would look so amazing. Discovery of witchcraft to do that. But that would be the dream project for me.
Yeah. So Don, what would be a dream project? Was it something you've been kicking around? Magical prop or a routine that you've been kicking around?
For the magic, that Lena project is definitely the one.
Because you made it, if I remember right, you made a table. I mean, you designed a full seance table for this.
Yes, I did, and I do use it.
What do you mean a full seance table? What do you mean?
Without tipping a whole bunch.
Okay, yeah.
It's basically a table that you can add anything.
And you could bring it with you and
yeah, you can.
wow,
you can mod it and
very cool. Okay,
the only thing you can't do because of the build of it is table tipping.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
It won't be,
but it's portable and things like that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very cool.
And so you did see the table that Prater used during his whole show when we did the
down here.
You were here.
Yeah.
That was the table.
Oh, okay.
It just
didn't-
we didn't use it.
It just was without. He left the spirits at home.
remember.
He left the spirits at home.
remember.
Just stayed there as a table.
Okay.
But
So we've got a couple of performers watching. So this would be a fun question for now. We are bizarre magicians, and as much as I hate that title, that is what we've been branded by magicians.
Yeah.
Staples of bizarre magic. Card magic has ambitious card to wallet. Stage and parlor magic has cups and balls, has linking rings.
Yeah.
Mentalism has drawing duplications, kirtsuke, some of those. What, in your opinion, and I know we've talked about a couple, but what are, in your opinion, some staples of bizarre magic? And if you guys out there have any, I'd be interested to hear what are some other ones. We came up with a list of, I think, maybe 2 or 3. I mean, really, we didn't come up with a bunch. Yeah. So you guys out there that perform this kind of magic, what are some staples? What's on the Mount Rushmore of bizarre? What's the ambitious card of bizarre magic? What's the cups and balls of bizarre magic?
Right. So I mean, I thought of ashes to palm. I thought that has to be up there somewhere. And what else did we come up with?
Spirit slates was something.
The one I can definitely get behind is the spirit slates. As a matter of fact, it is from the beginning of spiritualism.
Right, sure.
So it is a genuine. Yeah. It's not something magicians came up with.
Right. It's something.
So that makes it even more.
Yeah. And then of course Vic brought this one up, and you don't think about it as bizarre magic, but the kind of magic that I would like us to be known for is gypsy thread.
Yeah.
Eugene Berger's Gypsy Thread is an unbelievable story with I think a great effect.
Absolutely.
It is.
Yeah.
So if you guys have any, I know we've got some performers watching.
It's hard to come up with that list. We were on it for a while.
Well, spirit writings in general, I guess it's, a staple, but mainly slates are more popular.
Yeah.
But, and I'm bringing this up right now because you mentioned Eugene Berger. He has with tiny billets, but it's in mentalism it's being used, but again that goes back to spiritualism, how it started.
Right. So so if you guys think of any, post them on the comments or think about them. But we just got to thinking about what are the
it's a
staples.
One, it's definitely a top.
I mean,
top one
I think, and Joe Given just commented that those were the 2 that came to his mind first as well. I mean, I don't know that there's a lot more. I mean, not yet.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe one of these days, pearls will be up there, I mean, it's those that know why I said that. I mean, that's
bizarre magic is only what 50 years old, maybe?
Well, I mean, the Bible's 2,000 years old, so that's
okay.
I mean, so our kind of magic's been around a long time.
Let me rephrase it. The commercial, well, now some people are gonna say commercial bizarre magic. There's such a thing, but it's with the Andrewsy and all those guys. I think it's about maybe 50 years old, so it's not that old. So there's still a lot to go on.
Yeah,
right.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, and as Vince Wilson, our dear friend Vince Wilson, made the cover of Linking Ring this week. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Congratulations, Vince Wilson. With an article about bizarre magic.
Yeah, right.
Vince put on a convention that was just last week, and unfortunately our schedules didn't allow us to go. But bizarre magic, it's I think it's next, you know, I mean, and which I have my problems with as well with it being next, because, you know, Halloween's coming up, so every shitty card magician,
Yeah, totally.
you know, switches and starts doing tarot card
I'm
routines.
having really mixed feelings about it being popular, but at the same time, I'm happy. Like, I'm almost like Golem.
Right, yeah, right, yeah. It's mine. Yeah.
Yeah, almost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Right.
But, you know, I mean, you know, they say what's good for, you know, what's good for magic's good for everybody. I don't necessarily think what, you know, the more magic makes it better.
Right.
But that's a topic for another time with amongst magicians. We won't air our dirty laundry in with non-magicians. So yeah. So Soydan, the Lena project is your dream project. That's kind of
because it'll be nice to come up with a nice routine and props, and it's just one package. Like, I'm imagining being in a box made for that. Contains everything. You take that tiny box with you, and you have 20 minutes worth of material. At least 20 minutes. I'm sure some people like Aiden would add a bunch of other stuff and make it an hour.
Right. Well, that's, I mean,
Yeah.
and that's why he's doing
He's
20 shows a week at the
he's
Stanley
amazing,
Hotel, right?
yeah.
Yeah, right.
But other one is that sign, the planchette sign, because I think it was a couple years ago you told me if you ever make one a large planchette, I would love to.
Yeah,
have
I wanted
one.
a. I don't know if you can see it on the. Well, maybe I wanted one the size of the Chainsaw Massacre poster behind you. I wanted a big planchette to hang on the wall.
Yeah.
How rad would that? Just, I mean,
Awesome.
You know,
I did research it after you told me that. I went home and I started looking for it. Nobody's making anything large.
well, I don't remember Ouija Zilla. Do you remember that a couple years ago? Our friends at
Well,
the Talking Board Historical Society made the
that's-
largest planchette. Do you remember
Yes.
this? It was on a football field.
Yes.
You look it up at Talking Board Historical Society. I don't know if Calvin's watching, but he was part of it,
Nice.
and it was
Yeah.
a monster. I mean, it was a monster.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
they have people pushing around. I think it's actually become a meme that says, "This is how you get where we are today."
Yep,
By
yep.
people pushing around.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
they were
Hey,
using-
our friend Sebastian Black just joined us.
oh, nice.
Very nice.
Yeah, I
Very
haven't heard from
well.
Sebastian. Hey, buddy, it's good to see you.
Yeah.
We were just talking about you and your spirit slate routine last night about something you taught me about spirit slates, which I won't air here.
Yes.
But
I told him
Sebastian-
on the phone about that, and I won't.
Yeah, we won't tip
we
it.
won't
but
say anything, but
if you
it
don't
is-
know Sebastian Black,
it is.
Sebastian Black is a thinker. He really is,
Yeah,
and
it's a great
a
one.
really good guy. And punched David Johansen. Was it David Johansen you punched in the face, Sebastian? You have to remind me, or was it Jello Biafra? One of them. He told me a story that he punched one of those two guys in the face. Yeah. Anyway, so Vic,
Yeah.
you're a magic prop creator, semi regular performer, but recently you made a product that was neither magic or haunted or he said it was Biafra. He punched Jello Biafra in the face. So tell us a little bit about Dracula. You had a Kickstarter project that's turned into a trip to Transylvania coming up soon.
Right.
You know, you've developed a relationship with Dacre Stoker, the grandnephew of Dacre Stoker and the executor of the estate.
And that's thanks to you.
Well, yeah. Well,
right.
I was a little bit terrified, if you remember how I
do, I remember.
So Vic made a book, a Dracula book. So talk about that, and then we'll interject when I could have really ruined this project for you.
Right. So I made this Dracula book that I sold through
Oh, let me grab it. Let me
It's
grab
right
it.
there.
I think the camera
Seeing
went
it.
off. Yeah.
Are we frozen?
So
again?
I made this Dracula book that you got it? Yeah. Sorry, buddy. Technical difficulties. But I basically made this Dracula book and it had no magical properties at all. It just was a cool book that I wanted to make. And I sent some to Paul, and Paul sent one out to Dacre Stoker. And when he called me one day. Paul's like, dude, I hope you're not mad at me, but you know, I sent this book to Dacre Stoker, and I was like, oh my gosh, I hope he's not going to be mad. And he actually loved it. And from then, you know, we just kind of built a relationship, and we released the Stoker Box project, the Rare Papers, and that was a bunch of family heirlooms that were recreated in a beautiful box made by Tim Weissman. And one of the upper tiers of it, you can get a Dracula book. And we did that Kickstarter. It's completed, and those were all shipped. And then we decided, okay, you know what? Let's do we did the American version of Dracula. And we were like, all right, let's do the UK version of Dracula. That should be around, you know, the same process, thinking it would be, you know, relatively easy. And it's turned into such a nightmare because I know no one's going to believe me, but believe it or not, there is not a PDF of Dracula, the UK version. Right? So
okay, sorry to interrupt. It looks like we're back. So thanks for a couple people pointed out we were frozen. We're working on this. You know, we're working on it. So
AC kicks in.
so we're
sometimes.
back, but we're back.
yeah, but the audio is still going, right?
Well, the wind stopped, and so the solar quits working. Isn't that how that works? The power quits working for the camera because the wind stopped.
Right,
Okay.
around windmills, you know. So we tried to get a UK version of a PDF, and it just doesn't exist, which we couldn't believe. So we spent quite a long time trying to figure out how we were going to reproduce this, and we finally we got the file straightened out recently. We got it all, you know, we got the proof going right now. It's been off to Dacre. We're going to make a slight tweak when I get back. I'll show you this. You ever see one of these?
Yeah.
But it's gonna, you know, this is the American version.
When it first came out, and you were showing it to a bunch of people. I don't know if you remember. I'm not gonna name anybody, but somebody's like, "That doesn't look real." Do you remember someone who drunk made that?
Yes,
comment?
I remember her.
Do you?
It was a chick. I remember her. I remember
was
her.
like, what?
Yeah, I remember her.
I do.
I remember her.
I was. It was very awkward.
Was it here?
Yes,
Okay.
Right here.
right here at the bar.
Oh,
Yeah, right.
You know what? There's a lot of things that have happened right here at this bar
Yeah,
that
true.
I don't remember.
No, I remember her.
So
So yeah, I mean, we've got the file straightened out. We got Dacre has a proof right now. We're gonna make a couple slight little tweaks to it because it's almost ready, and then it's finally off for printing. And I know guys have been waiting for a long time for it, but it's something from scratch that, you know, doesn't exist in the world.
Yeah.
We're creating this from scratch. And sometimes things take a long time to create from scratch that don't exist in the world.
right.
know?
Right.
But it's going to be great, and everybody's going to get one that ordered, and it's going to be killer, and they're going to love it. But it's going to take a little time. But it's a beautiful prop. The American version came out great. The UK's version is going to come out great too. And one of our buddies, Seth Cawthorn, who many of you know, actually is the one that's going to Ireland.
Yep.
With Dacre. So he's going to take one of the top tier Kickstarters was that you get the book and also a trip to Ireland. And in this trip, you're going to he's going to experience sitting at Dacre Stoker's table in his Marsh's library, and he's going to be presented with the entire Stoker collection. And Dacre's going to walk through all the documents with him in person.
Yep.
On the table that, you know, Bram Stoker used to research Dracula. So that's coming up real soon. And Seth is going to, you know, I think he's going to document the whole thing with video and camera
Awesome.
and everything. So I would love to get a video of that when it's done. But that's the story of Dracula, basically.
Well, and if you guys don't know Dacre, follow him on I think
Yeah.
it's Dacre Stoker author or author Dacre Stoker on
Yeah.
the Facebook.
Yeah.
The Facebooks. Dacre's a super guy. I had him on the first run of these shows, and
Yes.
he's a dear friend, and he's a very nice guy. And he's got an amazing story from Olympian to
Right.
you know, to
Yes.
Dracula expert.
Yep.
So hopefully I can have him back on. That would be a fun to revisit Dacre
Yeah.
and Steve. So are you going to keep the Dracula line going? Is this new project such a pain in the ass that it's become hard, or that it's become not worth it, or do you want to move on to some other projects of the like?
I'm not sure yet. I really want to get this one done.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, I
this one
understand.
has
Yeah, not
been
start.
an absolute nightmare, I have to say. But once it's done, I'll feel differently,
Yeah,
and we'll see where that goes. But right now, my only concern is getting
right.
this.
Well, and to talk a little bit about the
Yeah.
box, the Dracula box. I had one for about 3 weeks, and then it went away. But
Yeah,
but
sorry.
no, I'm glad to help out. And somebody
Yeah.
else, you know.
Sorry.
But are you gonna dig into a project that big again? I mean, I know your goal is to get this done, but that Dracula box was, talk a little bit about what that was. And
Right. So yeah, I mean, that was all the rare papers. So it was everything through the Stoker family that, you know, some were public, some were private, some were.
I mean, you got some from the British Museum, you got some
right.
from the Paul Allen estate, you got some
Right.
from private collections.
Yeah, that's right. So we had deals with all these different people to release certain pieces of the documents and recreate them. And yeah, I mean, it was a wonderful project. It was, I have to say, way easier than the
book.
than the current Dracula.
Okay. Okay.
So, you know, there might be something like that coming out in the future. We'll see.
Okay.
I haven't really thought about it, but maybe it's not out of the realm.
Or maybe dig into some other books of the genre.
Yeah.
You know, we talked last night about, you know, how many people think they know the story of Dracula.
Right.
Because they think they know it.
Right.
You know, and a couple years ago, I took on a project to read the books that people think they know the story. Everybody thinks they know Jekyll and Hyde.
Right.
How many people have read it?
Right.
Yeah.
Frankenstein. How many people think Frankenstein is the monster?
Yep.
You know, because it's pop culture. They've actually never sat down and read the book. Well, that led me on a journey, which I know that I called you right away. If anybody's ever read the real Peter Pan, it is fucking terrifying.
Yes.
I mean, Peter Pan is death. I mean, if you don't see it, you have not read the book. I mean, you know, Disney whitewashed it quite a bit.
Right.
But you know, Peter Pan started in the was it the Little White Bird? Which I've got a first edition copy. Should have brought that. I didn't know it was going to happen. Maybe another day. But the story behind Barry, the guy who wrote it, what a creepy weirdo. Right. You know, I mean, it is I think there's something there, and I want to do something someday with either a routine or something with the true meaning of Peter Pan. But it is terrifying.
Great. Really, I remember you calling, and I was like, wow, that's creepy. Very scary.
That reminds me, Hansel and Gretel, which they did a movie, a horror movie, which I'm not. This is awesome because it is a fairy tale. However, it's not, the real story is not, you know,
what we were told.
I mean, it's not a fun story. It's kind of to scare kids and scare them straight, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
But the actual story is very grim.
Right.
It's not a light story at all. And I thought they did quite justice, and they made it kind of heavy to watch if you're a horror fan.
Right.
Definitely, it's a watch. But if you're just casually watching horror movies, not for you. I can definitely say that. But it's an awesome movie, and
it's not Hansel and Gretel. It's Gretel and Hansel, right? It's the name of the movie. Yes, they do it backwards. So
yeah, because there's so many Hansel and Gretel movies. Right. So many.
And I think I saw it it's on one of the platforms for free, Hulu or one of those.
Oh, is it?
I think it is.
I'm gonna have to watch it again. Yeah.
I think it is. So we've talked a lot about magic. We've talked about, but you guys are also two of my best friends, and I've gotten to know your families pretty well. And so I want to talk a little bit about the people behind the Gemini and Evil Eye, not just your props and what you do. Yeah. So Vic, you have as I mentioned earlier, an amazing wife and two awesome kids.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about your family and your DNA, the DNA story.
So, which
is,
you want me to go into the DNA story?
Yeah, you said it was okay to ask about it, and so it is a fascinating story.
Right, and I don't know if you ever heard the DNA story.
I don't.
Okay, good.
I don't think so.
Put your seatbelt
on. Yeah, this is crazy. So yeah, I have a beautiful wife that I've been with for many years, forever and ever, and we got two great kids, and my mom and dad
twins.
Yep, and mom and dad live close by too, so that's great. But when I was here's the DNA story. Now when I was younger, I knew my parents told me that I was adopted. I was maybe 6 or 7 years old. And they brought me this book, and it was, where do babies come from? And I remember the gumball machines. The little kids would be popping out of the gumball machines. I don't know. But she gave me this book, so she told me I was adopted. And, I didn't care. And my whole life I spent like that. And that was my mom and dad forever. And that was no big deal. But, with the emergence of like DNA tests, I was like, oh, you know what? I never knew where like my heritage was from. Like, where'd I come from? And I was like, I'll take a DNA test and I'll keep it private, At least I thought
lock it down so nobody
can see.
I
thought I'd lock it down, So I took it and came back like Ireland and English and the typical stuff that you would think it would come back. And I would say maybe it's like a year ago at this point, I get a Facebook message from, I'm not going to mention names, but a woman, and she says, hey, my daughter is getting married to this guy in his 20s, and he just did a DNA test because he's having some medical issues, and your test matched up as like a second cousin. Do you know who this is, and do you have any medical conditions related to this? And I said no. I told her I was adopted. I don't know anything about the family. I don't have any medical conditions. That's it. So she was she kept researching it and she was like a part-time like family tree hunter or something. Like she wanted to do it, and I was like, all right, yeah, go ahead, do it. So she dug in a little bit, and it took her quite a few months. But then she finally said, "Hey, you know what? I think I found someone that's actually related to you, and I'm going to have them take a DNA test this week, you know, and see what the results are. But I'm not going to say anything until we get confirmation." So the test came back, and it was 100% blood brother. So we both had the same parents, and
Okay.
right, we both had the same parents, and however, I am one of 9 children.
Oh wow.
So he's one of the ones. The other ones are just like, half siblings, I guess. We have, like 6 other half siblings. And we know one of them was like murdered in back of an alley. And, so there's only like 7 of us left, but it was such a weird thing. And we actually, he lives in South Carolina. My brother, he's 12 years younger than me. And we went there, I went there to meet him, and we had dinner with I had dinner with his family and met his kids and everything. And I don't think he looks anything like me, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But
hey, Danielle, does he look anything like him?
No.
Oh, she doesn't think so either. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think so. But it was just such a weird story to
Oh, absolutely.
to go through all that, and to me, to have all this family that you've never even known before, and to have a blood brother like all of a sudden show up. I'm in my 50s now, and I'm like, what? But yeah, it was just a wild story.
Was this all like recent?
Yeah, it was within the last
year and a half, yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's in the
And
last
you never
year.
had, in your life, you never had the desire to hunt them out.
No, I never had the desire. And the only reason I said that I would talk to him, one of the conditions was that I wanted to make sure that both of my biological parents were dead.
Okay.
I didn't want to, there was a reason that they kept it a secret.
Right. Well, he didn't know that you existed. I mean,
didn't know,
yeah.
right.
And you believe, I mean,
Yeah,
you
of course,
believe
God.
you believe that your birth dad didn't know you existed.
Right. That's what that's my brother said. He said that I don't think even Dad knew you existed. So yeah, I mean, it was crazy, but yeah, I wanted to make sure that, I didn't want to, it was to be a secret. It was meant to be a secret. And I didn't want to break that secret.
Right. It's not your secret to break, and it actually benefited you.
That's right.
In the long run to have it be a secret.
Right. So I wanted to make sure that both of them were gone, and they were gone. And he was okay with that. And so, yeah, I met him, and we go on from there. Once in a while we catch up, on Facebook or something, and we're going to take a trip together. I'm going to go down to see him maybe in a couple months.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. And your kiddos are both in college, sophomores in college?
Sophomores in college.
Yeah. And so you and Danielle are empty nesters, and
yep.
So you got another dog.
We did. We got another dog. The dog hates my guts. We call her Tiny. She's like 7 pounds.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and she hates my guts.
Nice. All right, so Don, I want to hear the story. We got to hear the story. You're from Turkey.
Yes.
You're playing music. What are you doing in Turkey when you meet when you log on to when you have the, oh my God, I forget the name of the band now. Black Label Society email address, right. and you meet.
Was it Dark Stormy Night? No.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
So I believe it still exists. There's a 3D chat thing. It's almost like Sims, but it's not a game. Called IMVU, the letters IMVU, which I feel like almost it sounds like I envy you.
Yeah,
I don't know if they did it on purpose or what. So I'm just at the time.
And let me interrupt. Tina just sent a heart. So Tina, if you have the other side of this story, please type away.
That night I'm chatting with people outside of Turkey to kind of practice my English.
And how old are you? How old are you?
26, I believe,
Okay.
at the time.
And what are you doing? Are you in school? Are you?
No, I just quit school. Basically, I didn't finish. I was going to university and for agricultural engineering.
Okay.
Kind of halfway, I realized it's not for me, but it was too late. So I was kind of in a limit. I didn't know what I was gonna do with my life. I never thought about going to another country, yet alone. I'm like, I guess I'm just gonna go back to my hometown.
Which was, you grew up in Izmir, right?
I lived in Izmir during when I was going to university, And then Babaeski is the name of the hometown that I grew up in, and most of my life that I was there.
All right, back to the internet.
So you basically send chat requests to people, or they send chat requests to you. You have to accept or deny it to be able to talk. So you don't just go talk to random people. So I send it, and it comes back. And when they accept you, by the way, you go to their place. Like you transport into this 3D room wherever they're in. So I, go there, and I'm talking to the avatar is like this blonde girl. So we chatted, and it was either me or her having connection issues. So I asked her, do you want to chat on the MSN Messenger at the time? I don't know. Does that even exist anymore? So anyway, I gave her.
Vic's mom and dad and my mom and dad still have an AOL email address, so I'm sure it still exists. I'm still sure it still exists.
So I gave her my email address, which is at the time I don't use it anymore, so I can give it away here.
Yeah.
Black label society _557 @hotmail.com.
Yeah.
And then we start talking about it, and later on, I believe she told me during that time too, but later on also told me that somebody from Turkey, how would they even know who Black Label Society is? And for those of you who don't know, Zach Wild, who is also a guitarist for
Ozzy's guitar player.
Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah. And isn't he going to do the Pantera? Isn't he playing the Pantera?
Oh yes,
reunion?
yes.
He's going to fill in for Dimebag on the Pantera reunion.
And he's going to actually use the original his equipment.
Dimebag's
equipment.
guitars. Yeah,
Nice.
I read that. Yeah.
Yeah, the technician is preparing everything. So I was kind of against it, but I think that's.
Well, if anybody can pull it off, that's who Dimebag would have wanted to pull it off.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's gonna be good. But yeah, so she's like, who is this? Knows about Black Label. She thought it was more like a local LA band, but I mean, when you're into that kind of music, especially in Turkey or countries that are further away from America, once you're into it, you're passionate about it, you research it.
Mhm.
Kind of how we do with our
Right.
magic.
Yeah. What we
stuff.
do. That's what we do. Right.
You learn things that not many people know, so they're not necessarily popular, but when you're interested in that genre, yeah, they are popular. So anyway, and we start talking about music and this and that.
All right. I'm going to interrupt you. I'm going to pause you. We have the other side of the story.
Oh, okay.
This is from Soydan's wife, Tina. I had just gotten done going to Hollywood with my kids to watch Zach Wild get his star in front of the Guitar Center on Sunset.
Oh yes, that's an important detail.
Okay.
And we did revisit that, which was awesome. We did go to that Guitar Center in Hollywood. And if anybody is interested in music and rock history, you have to make that visit.
To the Guitar Center?
Yeah.
I've been there. It's rad.
Rock,
it's rad.
Yeah.
Hall of Fame.
Well, there's a couple places that I think in that aren't too far. The original Amoeba Records, it is just down the street. And it's I mean, yeah. So there's a couple places on that Sunset Strip. Yeah.
And it's very, I mean, if you're into starting from 70s on the rock and roll, heavy metal, I mean, that's where stuff started. I mean, New York has its own scene, but it's more like pop rock and all that.
My friend Mike Rainsford, who in New Orleans, would argue that it started in Manchester, England. So,
Right, that's true.
I mean, that's my friend Mike would argue that's where metal started.
I would agree with that, but I'm talking about more American.
All right.
But
bands.
they'd all be wrong because it started with Elvis.
Well.
Let's not get into that.
All right. So you and Tina.
Yeah. My wife is, by the way, Elvis fan too. So if I say anything when I go home, I'll be in trouble.
Right.
So, what did I say? Yeah. So we started with that, and a few months later, or a few weeks later, I believe it was actually, Tina lost her mom, and I already went through that as I mentioned earlier when I was 11. So I tried to help her with that basically. And at this time, I have none of us have any intentions to be more than friends.
Just
We didn't
internet friends,
imagine
On the other side of the world, right?
Yeah. And I try to help her as best as I can. But, you know, we were talking last night. I mean, when somebody's going through something tough, like, what do you say to them? It's really tough to, you know, really, for me, it's at least very tough to say anything. You want to, you know, help them out, but
Yeah, right.
you don't know the right thing to say
Right,
most of the
totally.
time. So anyway, I, you know, did what I could do, you know, by talking to, I mean, we were chatting at this time, most of the time. And then we started talking on the Zoom. She didn't have a webcam. She just went and bought a webcam just so we can use it. And we were on the computer on the Zoom for like year and a half, 2 years before I got here.
Wow.
But after 7 months, Tina came to Turkey to see what, because it was keep growing our relationship, and it felt like we were getting closer, but we were like, are we being like romantic about this? I mean, when I say romantic, like, are we imagining things because it's feeling good? Because sometimes, you know, especially in long distance, you don't have to do anything together. You
Right.
don't know just by talking if you're gonna connect with that person. You know, feels like you did connect it. You know, until you're face to face and start living together, you don't know that. So she comes to Turkey, and we spent 20 days in Istanbul.
Wow.
Wow.
And went to different, you know, historical places and museums, and, you know, Gloria Jeans.
Yeah. That's
With
funny.
our
Yeah.
Our favorite coffee shop.
They
Well,
make
we
the
went to
green
one.
label Keurigs or Gloria jeans,
Really?
and I
Yeah.
never heard of them. I thought it was just the.
I mean, they have this different furniture.
I don't know if Tina. I don't know if I want to read Tina's comment. I'm going to give you the option to look at it and see what if I want to read.
Everybody's seeing it.
Yeah, I know everybody's going to see it, but not when this goes on. When this goes on YouTube, when this goes on YouTube this week and on the podcast, they're not going to see it.
Right.
But if more people are going to watch us on YouTube and on the podcast, so if you want me to say it,
It's up to you. If I don't know if they're gonna censor or are they gonna take it down. If you say
they're not
it?
going to censor this shit. I mean, I've said terrible things online.
Okay, then
before.
yeah.
So Tina says the
fine.
truth is that computer sex got boring, so she had to go over to see if it was real. apparently, our boy Soydan is the cocksmith of Turkey. I mean, I also have to welcome our dear friend who's maybe the fourth amigo to this group. Our friend Zeke Powers just joined us.
Yeah.
So Zeke is also one of the most important people in my life. So
Totally.
we love you, brother.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, from that, she came. We you know, we thought we're doing the right thing and just continue the visa process and all that, which is, oh my God, you guys have no idea.
Oh, I remember. I mean, I remember hearing the stories. So
yeah, it's pain in the ass. It's
so you guys
super
lived in
complicated.
California for a while,
Yeah,
and
about
then-
a year and a half.
and now you're settled in Cheyenne, Wyoming, where you're a pharmacist.
And I have to mention this. At the beginning, I couldn't work because you don't get work permission. A lot of people don't know that. They give you visa, a fiancé visa. You have 3 months to get married. You cannot work, so you have to get married and do another paperwork process to be eligible to work.
Right.
Like, you know, it's not like when you come to America, you start working immediately. You cannot work.
Right.
The big icky says, now that Zeke Powers here, that means we all need to take a drink.
Oh,
I
yeah.
forgot about that. That we had that deal
That's
earlier
right.
on the last 20 shows that I did, that every time Zeke Powers
Yeah.
got mentioned, somebody had to take a drink.
Yep.
Yeah, we're gonna try to keep this one a little bit. There will be several of these episodes that involve booze. Today is not one of them.
Right.
I'm gonna just go ahead and interrupt real quick and plug the next episode is going to be 2 weeks from today, and it's going to be shot in this basement with me and my dear friend Paul Prater. Now keep in mind that is a Sunday afternoon. That Saturday night, the night before, Paul and I are going to see Iron Maiden. So it might be either going to be crazy loud because we won't stop, or it's going to be a little bit slow and quiet. So
Right.
the day after Iron Maiden next week. I've got a couple others booked, but not for a while. So if anybody out there has a topic they want me to dive in, or they want to come talk on the show, I would love to have you come talk. This is I don't want this to be just about magic. I've got an amazing life with an amazing group of friends, and I want to have people come on and tell stories and kind of talk about their lives. I've got my next door neighbor Scott's going to come on, and Scott is a competitive bodybuilder,
Right.
And I mean, you know, he got
He's
third.
ripped.
Yeah, oh shit!
Oh my God.
He got third place in the state in his class, and he got 8th place in the nation. And the day that he won 8th place in the nation, I had like a breakfast burrito.
Yeah.
I had pizza for lunch, and I think I got a birthday cake for dinner, and a couple beers. And I just to watch the dedication that this man has is ridiculous. So I'm going to have him on and talk about that.
Cool.
I've got a couple friends that grew up in the purity culture, and I thought that would be really something to sit down and listen to somebody that grew up in that culture that you know that. And so I've got a couple leads on having a legitimate sex worker come on and just over the phone and kind of talk and tell stories about the lifestyle. I'd love to have somebody who's dealt with an exorcism or been part of or been witness to an exorcist. I've got a few friends in the alien world that I think are going to try to help me out and get some alien abductees, or I'd love to have Travis Walton on or some of those.
Right.
So anybody out there, I'd love to have you come on. One of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to do a few little pop-ups here and there where I'll announce them a couple days in advance, where they're just going to be people that, you know, quick 30, 40-minute conversations. I've had a couple people say that, you know, I talk about my kid. My kid Ren is my world. And I've had a couple people say you should have your kid on. So I think one of these nights, my kid and I are going to hop on down here and have you guys ask questions, have people chime in and ask questions of what it's, you know, about to my kid. You know, my kid's 16. They get their driver's license in 3 weeks. The world is a different world for a 16-year-old today than it was when I was 16. So, so to have my kid come on and talk about that, I've got a bunch of ideas. So please, if anybody's interested, I'd love to have several of you that are commenting on to come in and come back and talk. Whether you can come to Colorado and do it, we're going to figure out how to do it on Zoom, or you know, I can pack this shit up and come see you. So yeah, so we talked about some your life, and so you're a,
And what I was gonna say
Yeah, I'm
is
sorry, yeah.
Tina decided to go to trucking school and got a commercial driver license, and she did that for like 2-3 years, I believe, and then she also rode bus after that.
yeah, in Cheyenne, right? Yeah.
So she did. I really have to say that without her, we wouldn't be, or I wouldn't be where I am today.
That's
It's
awesome.
just impossible. She picked up bulk of the burden, I guess.
Yeah.
For better lack of word. So I can't. I mean, I can't say enough about her.
I think I've had a chance to spend some time with Tina as well, and it's been a lot of fun. She's a sweetheart as well.
Yeah.
I do tell the story. I think the first night Tina came to this house was it was the first night of my spirit animal routine.
Oh yes.
We'll maybe save that story. I don't know if you know the story. She drew a hummingbird. You've heard this story, right?
No, but I know this routine.
So she drew a hummingbird that looked, Tina,
You
sorry.
can say it.
Okay.
After
That looked
she wrote that.
oddly like a penis with wings. And in my spirit animal routine, you know, I have the spectator make the noise.
Sound, yeah.
And so the noise, obviously, for a hummingbird is bzzz. Well, I took my thumbs on the dry erase board and erased the wings when I got to her, because I knew the routine, I knew it was hers. And I said, all right, Tina, start making the noise. And she's like, bzzz, and I turn it around and it's this huge, like 6-inch dildo.
Right.
And she was so embarrassed because she was new, you know, and we had a basement packed full of people that she was meeting them for the first night.
Totally.
And she handled it like a rock star. I mean,
Awesome.
so God bless
That was
Tina.
like one of the funniest.
That's
things I
awesome.
ever
Oh no!
seen.
And it was one. I think it might have been the first time I ever performed that.
Yeah.
Because it goes on. I mean, shit goes in this basement several times before it goes
Crying,
into the
yeah,
world.
yeah.
And I think it was one of the first times I performed that, and I thought, oh my God, if this happens the first time, this is going in every piece. I did. Vic watched me do it last night,
Yep.
and I have to give credit. It's not my routine. It's Eric Samuels. Eric Samuels is a genius. If you don't know who he is, look him up. But it's his routine, and it kills.
Yeah. Really good.
You have 5 spectators up that don't know they're going to draw,
And I believe
and they don't know they're going to make noise.
Larry Baker is the
Well, it's
or based on Larry Baker.
Larry Becker's
right? Yeah.
Sneak Thief. Yes.
Yeah.
So I was gonna So now your other passions are your woodworking. You know, you're a woodworker, and so talk about what's in front of you that you're making for these. Are you going to have these available on your site or for other people, or
I
this
will.
just okay?
Obviously, it's not gonna be this design, but I don't know if they're gonna be able to. Maybe I should hand it to you.
Yeah, let me or Vic, turn around and put it right up. See if you can put it in my
Put it
camera.
closer to you.
It might screw up the.
So the other way around. You're holding up. Yep. So that's basically.
You know what? We'll post a picture. We'll post a picture.
That's a planchette ornament. That's how it started, and you know.
Oh, Vic, you guys are frozen up again. Keep talking. I'm gonna fix this. I'm wondering if it looks like about every half hour.
Yeah,
this camera. So we're gonna have to fix the setting on that. So bear with me, guys. Keep talking. You can hear. I know that it's frozen. So I'm gonna fix it. Hold on a second.
That's fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is basically started as a Christmas ornament, which I'm not sure how you're gonna. Are you listing these on your website?
They're gonna be gifts.
They're gonna be gifts. So I will make them available this year. Last year I didn't make them for my Etsy shop, and the ones I will make will have a different design. It won't be obviously the mystery collection. And if you want any of these from Paul, you have to talk to Paul about that. But I actually keep one in my car as a, what do you call it, car ornament hanging from the you know, the mirror.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been there for like 2 years now, and I was kind of curious to see how it will turn out, and it's just still going. But yeah, that's kind of how it started. That was the first actually wood project that I offered on Facebook, then became on Etsy.
Very cool.
About 2 years ago. But before that, I made some. Well, I'm working on a table, and I made another table for myself. And then I don't know if you want to talk about that one yet, but or you want to leave it for later.
No, let's do it. It's yours.
This one is a prototype so far.
So Soydan is also, as I said, an amazing guitar player. You heard his music on the outro, or on the standby. So Soydan is an amazing guitar player. Well, you know what? All of these, we're going to post pictures of all these as well. So
this one is well, I didn't make the guitar. Gibson did. What I made is the pickguard over here. I usually don't like using pickguards on Les Pauls. I usually don't like using the pickguard on Les Pauls. It hits my fingers a lot. But I'm like, if I'm going to have a pickguard, what would I want there? Like, it will make me want to put a pickguard. What would that be?
Right.
And that's basically started as a personal thing again. But I'm like, that actually looks cool. When I made I sent you the pictures. The design.
Yeah.
No, that actually looks cool. I'm like, let's see. And
That does look cool.
I'm super happy.
You're bound to knock that over, Soydan.
Yeah,
You're gonna knock that over.
Yeah.
So, hey, that's like the second or third time you bumped it.
I should, that way we don't have to wait.
Right.
But yeah, that's basically, it's gonna be available on Etsy. I gotta figure out a few things to make it more.
When I saw somebody, when you posted online, I saw somebody ask if you're going to make one for Fenders, for Stratocaster Telecasters, and you said that's in the works. You're looking.
I will. Yes, I did think about that, and I really like wood. The wood look on guitars. I mean, obviously they are made out of wood, so it kind of makes sense. I mean, plastic or whatever the materials they're using, it's fine. But you know, I don't know, it just kind of matches with the rest of the look of the guitar.
And you also made the Ouija boards that are the spirit boards that are available on the mysterycollection.com. You've made some special edition spirit boards. So yeah, so check those out.
Yeah, that and Aiden.
And Sinclair has some at the
designs that those are not available through me, and they will never be available through me.
Yep.
So if anybody's interested in those,
you got to get them at the gift shop at the Stanley, right? Or at the underground
at your website.
Yep.
So there's that. But yeah, so and then we talked about the sign. So there's a few projects that I'm working this year. Last year I didn't do pretty much anything.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, COVID was one thing, and work was, because of COVID, got crazy. and I had no motivation to do anything really.
Yeah.
But,
Well, and keep in mind,
you know,
so Soydan is a pharmacist. So he didn't he did
pharmacist.
well, you work at a pharmacy, and Soydan didn't get a break during COVID. There was no downtime. Soydan was working extra hours on the front line. I got my first shot from Soydan. I got my second shot. I got my I got he called and said I was doing some traveling in the heat of COVID, and he snuck me in, and I got to go up and get a shot early. And so you were you weren't sitting around doing nothing. You were busting your ass and making sure that people were safe.
I didn't know if I was lucky,
right?
Because I didn't lose my job, or not lucky. I didn't have extra
50, 60 hours a week. Right.
But I'm like, people keep coming out with projects. I've done this during the pandemic. I've done that, and I'm like, never had that.
Well, you know what I did during the pandemic? I gained like 40 pounds, 30 pounds. I mean, I lost all that weight, you know. Yeah, I did something. Something was positive. Yeah. But you know what? You know and I've had this talk with some of my dear friends, and COVID, it sucked. It sucked for everybody. It really sucked. And I talked about this on and you know what? I need to give a shout out to G and Chris of Best of Five podcast. They are the ones that inspired me to do this. I recorded a couple with them in the last couple months. Check out Best of Five. I really run my mouth on one of them. I mean, I really do, and it's classic. I mean, it is Olympic level Paul running his mouth.
Right.
I mean, enough to where they recorded something on the soundboard of me saying "fuck that guy."
Yes.
And anyway, and I talked about it on there. Is COVID was bullshit. It sucked. The whole thing sucked. I lost 60 shows, 2 cruise ship deals, my marriage. COVID opened a lot of gaps that you thought you could smooth over, and in the financial world, and in the business world, and in the entertaining world, and I mean, it's sad to say, I think I'm a little bit better off for what went down. It really kind of caused us all to be a little bit more introspective and, value some friendships and some relationships more so than, because we had a lot of time. We had a lot of time, and I remember, and this is going to be a nice way to get into the next thing I wanted to talk about is, that one of my favorite shows I did in the first run of this was with Jake Anderson, the guy who wrote the book on Elisa Lam, because it started off talking about Elisa Lam, and then it started talking about mental health issues. Yeah. And the last couple of years have been, I guess I should give a warning that this is where the dick and fart jokes end. I've the struggles I've gone through in the last couple of years have been, some real mental health, mountains. And I've been very, very lucky to have the two of you and a couple other of my friends that always answer the phone call, and we're always there to listen. And at the same time, I'm going to let you go as far as you want to this. You both were going through very similar mental health battles. Some things were physical, some things were psychological, and some things were physiological. It's things you can correct with medicine, but sometimes things you correct with behavioral changes and sometimes, changes of people you hang around with and changes of your surroundings. So I guess I don't know where I'm going with this other than just to bring it up to say that, that one of the things I appreciate about you two, you always took my calls, when it got really bad.
Well, same, man. Same. I mean, it was a rough time for me personally. I know for everybody. We all went through some stuff, and I mean, the changes I personally made that made me feel better is, and it's gonna sound terrible, but I don't go on Facebook anymore. I don't watch the news that much anymore. I just kind of stay away from that stuff, which is really bad in my business. Because I'm supposed to be on Facebook and promoting and doing all these things, but I just can't. What that means is I really just need a publisher. That's what I've learned. That does it for me. I can't do it. But everybody has to find their way, man. And this last 2 years are rough, and without buddies to help us through and family that loves us, it would be a totally different story, man. I would not be sitting here. I can tell you right now, I would not be sitting here.
Yep. So Soydan and I talked quite a bit. I mean, he was one of the first people I think I talked to when my wife and I separated.
Yeah.
And Yeah. So I don't know, what do you? I mean, I know you had some battles, and again, take it as far as you want. I mean,
Yeah.
I since we're pals, I know, but I'm not.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, as you know, during the same time, I had some problems
Mhm.
and mental problems. Oh, by the way, I should mention this month
It's
is
Suicide Prevention Month,
Suicide
right?
we
Right.
talked about
Absolutely.
that,
Absolutely.
So,
Right. Right. No, we
like,
did mention that last night.
talking
Yeah.
to somebody that doesn't have to be helping you, but somebody listens to, which I'm so lucky to have my wife. I had you, and I have other friends that they listen to you, and it's a lot.
Yeah, let me interject something too. It's hard for the person on the other end of that phone call to know exactly what to say to make you feel better.
Yeah.
And there's really nothing you could say other than
No.
listen to them.
And you know what? Sometimes you're right. That sucks.
Yeah, that's
It's all you need.
It's
It's
it.
all you need.
Right.
Is, you know what? You're right.
Yeah,
That
and
sucks.
and
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
I
sorry.
know guys try to fix stuff. Like we're always like, no, we just have to do this, and
Yeah.
sometimes you just can't, and you just have to say, yeah, that sucks.
And one thing I learned or realized, I don't know what the right or the correct word is for that, but you have to embrace if you have a problem,
Well,
just
right.
like any other
yeah,
health issue. If you have a cut, and if you're gonna ignore that cut, it's gonna keep bleeding. It's not
Right.
gonna fix itself.
yeah.
Right.
If it's small, it might, but if it's big, it's just gonna keep bleeding. So if you ignore it, your mental health goes the same way.
Yeah.
If you ignore it, then I'll get through it. If you say that, no, you're not going to eventually,
Yeah.
No,
and it
absolutely.
could kill you,
No, absolutely.
literally.
And I think what Vic mentioned, with men specifically, and I know we've talked about Soydan, is, and Jake Anderson was really hit on this. If you get a chance, go back and watch the episode. It's on the YouTube channel. That we were fixers.
Right.
And
Totally.
when I got to a point where I knew I couldn't fix it,
Yeah.
the first thing I did is I had to go see a counselor.
Yeah.
And I felt all the shame that everybody feels, oh my God, I got to go talk to somebody and tell them how, I was never in the risk of jumping off a bridge, but the counselor that I'm seeing, and I've seen once a week for over 2 years, saved my life.
Yeah.
Saved it. I mean, and it's sometimes having, I love that I have my buddies, and I love that I have my friend group to talk to, but sometimes you need somebody that doesn't have a horse in the race, and somebody who's trained to do this. And I don't think there should ever be any shame. I think counseling should be free for everybody. I think it should be part of our, I mean, we go to the dentist, we should go to a counselor, I mean,
Exactly.
it's the same level. So,
Yep.
It is, if you're having problem, one of the things, it's gonna sound really cliche, but it's okay to not to be okay.
Yeah.
A lot of
Absolutely.
a lot of us, we just we don't want to accept that. We are just skimming over it, or I'll get over it. All people to tell you, you just if you're a man up and deal with it, or whatever it is. And it doesn't get fixed that way.
Yep.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. I mean, it might, like you said, there are different ways. Like I actually use self what would you call methods, I guess, to deal with what I'm dealing with, and it helps me. But that may not be you.
Right.
And there are times that I feel like I should go get a professional help, and which I did to a certain extent, and I will say that I do take medication. It's nothing major, but
Yeah. Same.
I mean,
it,
there's no shame in it. I mean, like I
Totally.
said, it's like just like any other health issue. If you have an issue, if you have a mental problem, seek help. There's nothing wrong with doing that.
Yep.
Nothing. It may be hard to get. We gotta mention that too. It's hard to find a counselor sometimes, especially if you're working. Like that was one of the problems.
there is online counseling. My kiddo is
Yep.
doing an online session once a week where she sits in a room
Yep.
and logs on to somebody.
COVID changed
right,
a lot of
Totally.
that.
Right.
Yeah.
So
And-
we're talking about the bad things about COVID, but there are some things that we didn't have in our world before COVID. Now we do, and they're positive.
Well,
And
it changed
that's
a lot
one
of,
of them.
and I part of me wishes I still was in the corporate world during COVID, because I so would love to be the I told you so guy that this meeting could have been an email.
Right.
You know?
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
I mean, I was in banking for so long and finance for so long that we had meetings about meetings, and, and it's like, oh, this meeting could have been an email. COVID showed us this meeting could have been an email.
Yes.
Yeah, so there are some good things came out from COVID, and definitely help is a lot more accessible now.
Yeah.
Even regular doctors now, you can have a
Yes.
virtual visit. How
Absolutely.
cool is that?
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah. So I just, I wanted to bring this up because I know that it's something that we as friends have talked about, privately, but I wanted to bring it up publicly that there's a lot of us out there. I've had the comments, and I'm not going to call you guys out that if you want to talk about it, we can talk more about it, but I won't post it, or mention it. But if there's friends out there that need to talk, here's 3 dudes that know what it's like.
absolutely.
Yep.
So I love you guys, and I appreciate you. So I just wanted to bring that up. So yeah, we're almost hitting the 2-hour mark.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
all right. On that note, hold on. I have something for you.
Uh-oh.
Let me move.
Oh shit. Well,
It's coming down here. Should I leave?
yeah, oh shit. Not this again. I fell for this in Boy Scouts, Vic.
All right. So this is for you.
Oh, no way. If I don't know where the camera is. If you know me, I have been looking for this I think this may have been one of our first conversations.
Yes. There's something inside.
So what is it?
It's something I made a few years ago that's hard to get.
Oh, and the A's.
Oh yeah, in case you wanted to print it.
Oh, snap. I know what it is. I remember, yes. Tell everybody what this is.
So that is, I remember a few years back, Paul was looking for, I forgot exactly what he called it, but he was looking for all like the different things in the Bat Cave, I think.
I wanted like the first edition or the first appearance of the dinosaur, the first appearance of the penny.
Right, right. And this is the first appearance of the dinosaur.
Oh my God. Thank you, buddy.
You're welcome, buddy.
Awesome. Yeah, if you haven't been to the basement, I'm a little bit comic book nerd.
Yeah.
I have some Batmans that are, so thank you, buddy.
You're
Thank
welcome, man. Enjoy.
Awesome. So we're going to give you guys a few minutes to plug, and then I'll tell some things are going on. I'd be really interested in hearing. I mean, we've still got about a dozen people watching, so we haven't bored anybody that bad. I'd be real interested to hear what you guys think of the new format. I am so excited. This makes it, I mean, so much better than the. Yeah. And Soydan, as much as he hates it, I'm not ever going to say, "Are we on? Are we live?"
Right. So hopefully the sound is better. The video is better.
And we're going to get the camera. We're going to get this camera thing figured out. I don't know why it keeps shutting itself off, but we'll get it figured out. But I just want the some feedback on what you guys think of the new format. We're working on a couple other things. We're going to have maybe some commercials and take breaks and so on. If you haven't seen his commercials, I think we posted. What's the one that you did about? Oh my God.
Which one?
I don't know. It was you were a salesman and you kept doing this.
Oh my God, 80s commercials.
Yes,
guys.
I'll make
we
you an
didn't
80s.
We didn't post that.
Oh, we didn't post it.
No,
Oh,
I sent it to. Oh, I guess we can post it.
Yeah, we'll find it and post it. It is hilarious. So we're gonna work out the format on this. Is it? I want to give it the attention it deserves. This is going to be a project that I want to work on, and I can use everybody out there. I can use your help. If you have somebody that wants to be on the show or that you think that should be on the show, I've had a couple people reach out and say, "Hey, I have a lot to talk about. Put me on your show." Well, tell me what the fuck you want to talk about. I mean, I'm not going to have you on and say, "What'd you have for breakfast?" I mean, and frankly,
unless they're a chef or something, you might ask.
Right. But if that's the most interesting thing they have to offer, I really think one of my strengths, and I'm not the first person to point this out, is I'm a good conversationalist. I'm a good talker, and I am lucky enough to have some really amazing, very interesting, fun people in my life that I want to help tell stories. I only have a couple shows coming up, and then I think I'm going to take the rest of the year kind of slow and work on this show. And Vic and I have been working on and my friend Tamara, working on the Mystery Collection book. I hope to have it done by this time next year. It's going to be the Monkey's Paw is what it's called. It's based on the Jacob story. If you're not familiar with it, check it out. It's amazing that the relics that all wishes come with a price.
Yep.
And that's going to be the first chapter in the book since it's public domain, but it's a great story. I'll be in excuse me, I'll be in Eugene, Oregon on September 24th at Old Nick's Pub. I'm really looking forward to getting there. I've never performed up that area. I've been in that area a couple of times for fun. It's going to be fun to go up. I've got some friends, Karen and Peter up there that I get to see again. Then I think that's about it for the year.
And I had Seance, right? That show.
Well, we're gonna see. We're gonna see that may be put on hold. I've got a couple scheduling conflicts that may we'll see. Well, I've got to look at that. I've got a couple other opportunities popped up that are not public events that I'm gonna have to talk about. And then Halloween. I had a couple things booked for Halloween, and they've both fallen through, which is maybe good. Maybe I hand out candy. I haven't done that in years.
Wow.
And this neighborhood is batshit crazy for candy. And I have my kid that week. My kid gets her driver's license in a couple weeks, and I'm terrified. My life's going to change.
It is.
The kid doesn't need me to get her to and from places, and I think I'll see a lot less. But so anybody who wants to come talk on the show, give me a buzz. I'd love to. If you want to do a quick 30-minute pop up some Wednesday night, or if you want to come sit down, if you want to come in and sit down in the basement. And
there's one guest that you didn't mention.
Oh, right. On the last version of this show, we had a couple people say that I ask all the questions, but I think I tell a lot of stories too. Yeah. But Soydan had mentioned that he wants to come on and we're going to sit in different chairs.
Right.
Soydan's going to sit in this chair and I'm going to sit over there. And Soydan's going to ask me the questions that I put people on the spot with. And I think that'd be a fun one. I think that'll be a lot of fun. So we're working on that. I've got Paul Prater in 2 weeks from today. The schedule for this show is going to be kind of fun. What I'm hoping to do is do the live on a Sunday and then spend this week getting it ready for a podcast and get it ready for YouTube. And then it'll be on YouTube, I'm hoping by next Sunday. And then the next Sunday will be a live show. I'll work on that for the week and then the next Sunday. So there'll be a release either live or recorded every Sunday going forward. Awesome. There are a few travel days in there. It looks like the weekend of I believe the 9th, there's a good chance I'll be in Blairsville, Georgia, home of
Zeke Powers and City Lights,
the City of Lights and Mr. Zeke Powers. So we're gonna have to hammer out some details, see if that's gonna work or not. So I may be doing it live from Blairsville via a tin can and a string. If you've ever talked to Zeke Powers on the cell phone, you know that the connection in Blairsville, Georgia. So I hope to get back to Baltimore and see Vince and perform. He's doing shows at the Pose again at the hotel. He's opened up that theater again. So I hope to get back up there. I got to see him this summer and spend some time up there with Vince Wilson. So again, if you have I talked to somebody yesterday about coming out to La Crosse, Wisconsin, about doing a show out that way. So we'll see. If you want to come, if you want a mystery collection show, I love to travel, and we just give me a place to stay and an audience, and we'll figure it out. So, Soydan, what do you got coming up? What do you want to plug? What do you want to talk about?
All the projects basically we covered really that I'm working on. Definitely check out my Facebook and Instagram. If you can give me a like or follow, whatever you do these days, they keep changing. It seems like that will help a lot, and you can I post most of my updates usually on both. Sometimes I'll do exclusive things on only one of them. I'm trying to, to be honest, I'm trying to get more likes and follows on those pages. So if you could help out with that, that would be great. And any Etsy updates will be on there definitely. So there won't be any product that released on Etsy and didn't get mentioned in either one. So but yeah, it's gonna feels like it's gonna be a busy.
Swan, nobody thinks that shit's funny. Swan says he wants to plug your mama. And that is why Steve Swan will never be a guest on this show.
Oh my God, right. Yeah, he's got some stories.
I know he does. But you got to put up with that shit. You got to put up with that shit like that.
Totally. That's
true.
Maybe you should record it when I edit them out.
No, I want people to know. Right. So Vic, I know you're knee deep in Dracula. I know that is the. So I don't know if you want to even talk about another project or anything coming up.
I don't. The only thing I want to say is I just want to tell everybody, please be patient. Everything's coming. You're going to get everything you ordered. It's just going to take a little time, but I don't want to even talk about other projects yet. I just want to concentrate on what I'm finishing up, but please be patient.
All right.
Weak things just because he said that. people are not gonna go on the green place
The
and
Green
the
Monster.
Facebook and.
I don't go to the Green Monster
Did
anymore.
anybody heard from Vic? I paid for it and it's been
Yeah.
this
Totally.
much time.
Right.
Yeah,
It's
you
coming.
can't
Everything's
stop
coming.
it.
No, and it's going to be awesome. And it's going to
Of
be great.
course, yeah.
I think the next time Vic and I will probably be in the same room. We'll probably be East Coast Spirit Sessions.
Yeah.
In January. It's Martin Luther King weekend in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I'll be performing in the Parlor.
Yes.
Parlor Roulette. Is that how they call it?
love
You know?
it. Yeah.
It's a great. We had mentioned. That's where we saw Steve Gibson's. And I'm terrified that I'm not even going to hold a candle to Steve Gibson's. But I've got 4 shows. They're 20 minutes apiece, and it's going to be. We're going to see. It's going to be a fun time. So Martin Luther King weekend in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Come out and hang out. I know it looks likely that Mr. City of Lights will be there.
Cool.
I'm sure Prater will be there. There'll be a group of us, and we're. It's always a fun time. So check that out. Again, guys, I would love feedback. I'd love feedback on what you thought of the show, what you thought of the new format, anything that you think we could change or make better, or even if you liked something.
I have a
somebody you liked something.
suggestion. I have a suggestion. I would like to use more of those buttons that make noises.
Yeah, let's.
Oh,
should I
yeah.
see
Let's
if I have
try
any?
that, Let's make some
Okay.
noise here. Thank you. Thank you so
Yes, there's some buttons on here.
much. Thank you.
Oh, that's yeah. If you listen, there's one at the very end.
It's good. You gotta stop it, otherwise it'll loop forever. No, it won't. But yeah. Right. So we got to add more of those things. I
Yeah.
think that's a
So
lot
one
more
of the buttons
fun.
I want on here is, I don't know if it, I know there's a couple of people out there that watch Letterkenny. I want one that is the chorus of "To Be Fair." So that's something we got to work on. Vic and I tried to figure it out the other night, but we've learned so much since that day. We've learned so much since that day.
Yeah.
So a couple other ones. Yeah.
Scary one needs to go back on.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah.
We'll put them all back.
So my friends G and Chris from Best of I podcast, who without them, this
Yep.
would not exist. One of their buttons is me saying "fuck that guy,"
right.
and it's I love it. So I got the same board they recommended. So we're gonna work on programming some stuff into this board and making it. But I just think that's.
It's good fun.
I think that's all the ones that were. Oh, yeah, I think that's all the ones that work. So,
And
Magic.
and they should thank you for having us and breaking in your.
oh
Yeah,
no,
that was a lot of
yes,
fun.
Yes,
Yeah.
these guys again. I'm a moron, and I admit I'm a fucking dipshit when it comes to technology. There was a time that I was on.
Yeah.
And we talked about this when I got out of college and I went to work at a bank.
Yep.
I was the IT guy for the bank. Every problem, hey Paul, can you fix this? And I was a rock star.
Yep.
And then it just passed. It just passed me like I was standing still and things were coming. And I was doing other things, right? I mean, it's not that I couldn't learn, but I've learned so much just in the last couple of days. I've taken notes on this. So, but the reason this looks like it does is because of these two guys. We've got two cameras. We decided. Was it 2 days ago? Yeah. 2 days ago, we decided to do 2 cameras, and we went to Best Buy. Oh, Soydan, you'd have slit our throats. We went to Best Buy, came home, like, oh, we just need something from Target, which is right next to Best Buy. We get back in the car and go to Target.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
We've done that like 6 times.
Yeah, we've been to
Literally.
that shopping area say at least 6 times in
at
2
least.
days.
And then 2 days before that, before you bought the camera, I asked you
you want another
about the
camera?
double camera. He's like, "No, I'm just gonna go with one."
Yeah.
Right.
Let's not make it complicated.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
We bought a new camera. I'm like,
Well, we got confused with the
okay.
camera angle. That's what we were having.
Yeah, we couldn't. The thing is, we couldn't get the angle that I liked.
Right.
Oh.
With it just it was either because I can't, I couldn't talk to you guys.
yeah.
and look at you. When I do Zoom, when I was doing the Zoom shows, it was easy because I'm looking at the camera. The camera's right behind the screen.
Right,
So it looks like, and those, the majority of the shows I did on the last run of this. But I want this new one to be people sitting in my basement or me sitting in a bar with this, because this setup will travel fairly well.
Definitely.
And so I want people in to come down. So, all right, we are we are right at the 2 hour mark.
All right,
so, we're gonna see if I can run this this outro.
Play the outro.
But parting words, Soydan.
I guess that's my parting words today.
All right. My
You
parting
guys
words.
take care.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was fun, man. I love you guys.
All right. I love you guys too. My parting words is Wu-Tang is for the children.
For the children.
Thank you for tuning into the Mystery Collections Conversations with your host, Master Magician, curator of all things odd, bizarre, and mysterious, and all-around nice guy, Paul Nelson.